Alright, so in today's video, I'm going to show you how to wholesale rental houses. So if you're not familiar with wholesale, what wholesaling is, it's a great way to flip houses using none of your own money, credit, and not having to deal with contractors at all. Don't get me wrong, I love dealing with contractors, rehabbing houses. However, there is a ton of money to be had wholesaling houses. Wholesaling houses, where I'm going to show you what it is, but again, it's a great way to make $5,000 to $20,000 or more sometimes, but usually between $5,000 and $20,000 wholesale flipping a contract on a house. It's an awesome way to generate quick cash within 30 days. Awesome. So I'm going to go through some details on how to do it. And what today's training is going to focus on is wholesaling rental properties. Okay? Wholesaling rental properties is the same process in terms of the paperwork as wholesaling something that a cash buyer, somebody's going to buy it, rehab it, and then resell it. It's the same process in terms of the paperwork. However, it's a slightly different way to analyze the deal when you're dealing with rental properties. So, for example, we just did a property on, this was Penn Street, East Penn Street in Norristown. And this is an absolute piece of crap house, absolute piece of crap. The back wall was falling apart, it was condemned, and we got it for $6,000 under contract, right? $6,000, the ARV, if there even is one, it was probably worth about $60,000 once it was fixed up. But here's the deal. There are landlords in all of those areas dying to buy these deals, right? Why? Because the cash flow works. It's a totally different way to analyze it. If you were to buy it, fix it, and then resell it, it wouldn't have been worth a while. So we got under contract for $6,000, put up a $100 deposit, and within a couple of weeks had a buyer under contract for $16,000, and we closed it and cashed out $10,000. So the question becomes, before you buy anything with the intention of sell it, or in the case of wholesaling, before you go under contract to buy the property, don't you want to know how much your cash buyer is going to pay? Of course you do. So the question is, how can you find out what your cash buyer is going to pay? Again, this is in the context of wholesaling rental deals. So what you want to do, and this is a super duper key term I'm about to share with you here, okay? A lot of people have a lot of confusion on, well, how do I know what a cash buyer is going to pay? But this is going to clarify it all for you. What you're looking for is similar condition comps, okay? So, when I did this property, I think it was 333 East Penn Street in Norristown the other week, what I did is I looked for other pieces of crap houses that need a lot of work, and said, what did they sell for, right? And so if you've got a property that just needs a little bit of touch-up, maybe some kitchen work, some carpet and paint, so that you can get it rent-ready, or so that a landlord can get it rent-ready, then you're going to look for other houses that are in a similar condition, see what they've sold for, right? So it's really easy. So in the fix and flip world, if you're wholesaling a fix and flip deal to somebody who's going to buy it, pay cash, rehab it, and then resell it, you've got to figure out what's the after repaired value times a certain percentage minus the repairs is what your cash buyer is going to pay, right? However, in the wholesaling rentals world, it's really easy. You want to know what your cash buyer is going to pay? Find out what other cash buyers are paying for comps that are in similar condition. That's super key. But what did we leave out so far? We left out your profit. So, let's say that similar condition houses are selling for plus or minus $40,000. Okay? So they're selling for $40,000. How much should you get the house under contract for? Somebody tell me right now. If similar condition rental houses are selling for $40,000, similar conditions to the one you're looking at buying, how much should you pay for yours? Well, as little as possible, right? So typically what you want to do is you want to subtract out your $10,000 wholesale fee. That should be your minimum, okay? So $10,000, we just locked one up on Tuesday of last week, and over the weekend I got signed an offer for 90. We locked it up for 75, and we locked it down for 92.5, so 17,500. But typically the minimum is $10,000. That's what you want to shoot for. So what that means then is you would get this under contract, price with seller, okay? So you're going to get that under contract for $30,000 with the seller. That actually does say price, I promise. Oh, the price with seller, yeah. So you want to find out what the similar condition houses are selling for, take out your wholesale fee, how much you want to make, 20 grand, whatever it is, take it out, and that's your contract price with your seller. Now, if you know for sure that you've got cash buyers who are willing to pay 40, but all you can get the seller to is, let's say, $35,000, how how much money have you made? You made $5 grand. Is that worth doing? Yeah, I'd say so. But what if you're really good at negotiation and you can show the seller how to get, or you can get the seller to agree to $25,000? How much have you made? Well, you'll make $15,000. Really great way. But again, the key with wholesaling rentals is find out. Now, there's other ways to do it. You can evaluate the cash on cash return, but that's just a pain in the neck. You want to stick with this. It's the easiest way, fastest way, because money loves speed. Speed is the way, name of the game in this wholesaling business, okay? So then the question is also, where do you get these similar condition comps? The best and easiest way is to get it out of the MLS. My friend Ian Walsh, he says you got to beg, borrow, steal, do whatever you got to do. Get yourself access to the MLS. Students come to, I had somebody come to me the other day saying, oh, I just passed my realtor's exam. How do I get comps? I'm like, MLS? He's like, well, I don't have my license yet. Get it, right? That's the best source of comps that there is. There are other ones as well. But another question I get a lot, and tell me if you've had this question before as well, right? What about the contracts? Right? What contracts do you use to lock down a deal and to resell it? So I get this question all the time. So what I finally did is I took my contract that I've had my attorneys review and approve is Jim's Wholesaling Contracts.com. You can get a set of my agreements. So it's Jim's Wholesaling Contracts.com. We can put that link in the comments. That'd be great. But Jim's Wholesaling Contracts.com. And it's going to show you, give you the contracts to avoid the double transfer taxes in Pennsylvania. It's a great resource. It's Jim's Wholesaling Contracts.com. So again, if you want the paperwork to lock down these deals, get them under contract with the seller, and then the paperwork to lock them up with the buyer, and then how to get paid at closing, I give you those resources there at jimswholesalingcontracts.com. So this is great. I'm sure you learned a lot. I know you did ask because I know you did. It was an awesome training. So the question is, though, what else is there in wholesaling, and what else should you know? So again, I get this question a lot of time. How do I get started wholesaling houses? As I'm dinner with some folks on, I don't know, it was Thursday last week, and somebody asked me, how do I get started wholesaling? So what I decided to do is actually put together a training, and I've done tons of trainings on wholesaling, where I'm going to show you how to get started wholesaling, how to make $5,000 to $15,000 in the next 30 days wholesaling houses, whether it's fix and flips or rentals. I'll go through detailed case studies of wholesaling rental properties versus wholesaling fix and flip deals, and also to go through, map out for you, start to finish, the process of wholesaling. This is going to be like your blueprint, your roadmap for getting started wholesaling houses. What do you do? How do you find the sellers? How do you find the buyers? How does the process work? How does closing work? How do you handle closing? What if your buyer's afraid you're making too much money? What if your seller gets ticked off at the last minute? What do you do? All these things are really bad situations that can happen at the last minute. I'm going to show you how to deal with all the situations and get paid quickly on this webinar. Again, the goal here is for you to make $5,000 to $15,000 in the next 30 days, but you've got to register for the training, which is coming up here. I think it's this Wednesday, jimswebinar.com. And I think if you're watching this video on a blog, then you'll also see the link in the blog beneath this video. So that link does expire on a Wednesday, by the way. But for now, it's jimswebinar.com. If you're watching this video after Wednesday the 22nd, then just go to my blog and you'll see the link there. So how to wholesale, just to recap really quickly here. Give me 1 second. Oh yeah, wholesale rentals. It's all about finding what similar condition houses have sold for, subtract out your profit, and that's what you want to get in a contract with your cash buyer. What the similar condition houses have sold for is what your cash buyers will pay for. And here's the cool thing. You can get started wholesaling even if you don't have any buyers. It is really, really cool. In fact, I've figured out a really cool way to find out dozens of cash buyers in any market. But we'll touch on that on the training. So if you want the contracts for doing wholesaling, go to jimswholesalingcontracts.com. And if you want to, which you do, absolutely do, want to learn how to make $5,000 to $15,000 in the next 30 days wholesaling houses, even if you've never done it before, just go to jimswebinar.com. But let me ask you a question. What would $5,000 to $15,000 extra income in your life make? What difference would that make in your life? What would you do? What would you do with it? Who would you do it with? So these are all really important things to know. But the bottom line is, if you don't know how to get it, you ain't gonna get it. So go to jimswebinar.com, register for this in-depth Power Packs training on Wednesday, February 22nd. It's going to be a 9 p.m. training, and yes, you absolutely will get the recording of the training as well. So that's it. I'll catch you on the next training video.